Hey, Editor Leo here. I just want to let you know at some point we lost video from Adrian. Luckily, audio is still there, so all you folks watching on YouTube, just letting you know that we were unable to recover Adrian's video, so we'll just superimpose a photo he kindly provided. Thank you again, Adrian, for coming on. Uh, Sorry that we couldn't get your beautiful face animated all the time, but we will be using a profile photo for the rest of the YouTube video. So I just wanted to let you know, all you viewers out there, if you're wondering what's happening, that would be it. Welcome to another episode of Empower Apps. I'm your host, Leo Dion. Today, I am joined by Adrian Eves. Adrian, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Yeah, this is going to be a great time.
I am not, I'm really happy to have you on. I know how exhausting it is to travel. You just came back from Dub. Did you get to go to the actual event?
I did. I didn't get the quote unquote golden ticket. I was really more there to support my friends at Apple, who've been working on things that they finally have gotten to reveal. Uh, and it's funny that you mentioned traveling and stuff because I've only been back home from Dub for a little over an hour. I took a red eye home.
Oh my gosh, Adrian, thank you so much for being able to do this. This is great. I really happy about that. Well, one thing we wanted to talk about is just your current work situation. So you were at Disney, is that correct, for quite
That
some
is
time, and
that is correct.
you were recently laid off. Yeah, you want to talk about that situation a little bit? What was that
Yeah,
like?
I would love to. So I've kind of had a bit of a cycle with it personally, because first I got the news and it was kind of like it didn't really hit me. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm one of the layoffs. And then like that weekend, it was rough. I had a lot of questions about my own self-worth and stuff, and I was like, oh, why me? But then I also saw like some of the other folks that were getting laid off, and I kind of, and one of my friends, his name is Ish, he kind of explained the way layoffs work to me is it's not like they're getting fired, but it's really just a corporate thing where they have to reduce role counts and such. And so I was kind of able to see that it really wasn't a personal decision, and it's really easy to take personally, but I have made peace with it. I have enjoyed my time there. I'm really glad I got to be there, and I'm excited to find out what's next personally. And while I do not know what that is at the time of recording, I've got some things in the pipeline, and we'll just have to see where they lead.
Were you surprised to see Disney at Dub? Bob Iger specifically there to talk about the Vision Pro?
That was a little tough, I'm gonna say, and like I'm happy that they
Okay.
get to do the Division Pro stuff, but because see, I was watching the keynote and I felt like a big wave of nostalgia, because I used to work over at Apple and I loved working there, and so I was already kind of like in the prime zone to feel like kind of like heartfelt things, and then yeah, then that happened. I was like, oh man, oof, it's like they got me. But no, that's really exciting. And honestly, I would be lying if I said I wasn't going to use my Vision Pro to make Mickey Mouse dance around my furniture.
Nice. Yeah, so good luck with your endeavors. I'm 99% sure you're going to find a new gig. So
I appreciate you for
I'm
that.
not,
That is very kind.
yeah, I think with layoffs, it's going to sound a little cold hearted, but like us engineers who have skills have it a lot easier finding new gigs than people who are quote unquote unskilled laborers. So I'm hopeful that most people can find new jobs pretty easily in this
Yeah, I
current
hope so
economic
too.
situation.
It's really sad to see because like I, it's funny. I feel like people use LinkedIn most during job hunt season, and I'm using LinkedIn a lot lately for obvious reasons, and you see it a lot. People get like dispatched and laid off, and it's sad because it's like some people have had like 25-year histories at their company, and it's just like that's it, and it's kind of like oh
Yeah, 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 totally. So let's get into WWDC. What's been your favorite videos this year? There was a ton. Trust me, I'm thinking of like 50% of my bookmarks. But what were the things that you were like, oh my gosh, that's so cool?
So there were a lot that were really, really, really cool. We had about 175 sessions this year, and so I tried to limit it down to
Wow.
three. And I think these three are really, really special to me because I know the people who were giving the talks, and I don't know, some of them have given the talks before, but also the ones that have given talks before, this was a pretty big moment for them. So, for
Yeah.
instance, one of my top ones is Meet Assistive Access, and you probably know him. Alan Leary delivered that
Can I tell
session.
you a funny story about Alan?
Please
I
do.
invited him to the podcast. And this was before I knew about his new position, and like it was like a week before he got the job, and like I saw the tweet right after I DM'd him, and I was like, oh yeah, he's not gonna come on. Oh well, like I just missed him by that much, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that would have been a good
that's
one.
an
I'm gonna just
awesome.
put it out there.
But yeah, like assistive access, it's just awesome to see the work that Apple is doing when it comes to accessibility in that realm.
It's really, and that is a very, very special piece of work that they've done. It's been a long time coming, but it's been incredible. Like I'm so happy to see it out in the wild.
Did you work on that, if you mind me asking?
I did not work on assistive access. That was those were other members of the accessibility team doing that. Alan, well, I'm going to be careful, and I'm not going to speak on what Alan did or didn't do because he's not here to correct me or also speak on behalf of it. But I will say that he's very qualified to give the session.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to explain what assistive access is and how that fits in accessibility exactly?
Yes, and so one of the reasons I love assistive access so much is because a lot of times when we think of accessibility, we think of vision accessibility with things like voiceover, and we think of, motor accessibility, things like switch control, and we think of things that help with our hearing, like subtitles or boosts, etc. A lot of people don't really think of cognitive accessibility, and to be fair, it's kind of when you think of it in terms of the other three ones that I just mentioned, it's a bit different and harder to design around. And so assistive access does a beautiful job of giving developers a means to really tackle that by just creating interfaces that make a lot more sense. I have one of my best friends in the whole world is a gentleman who has Down syndrome, and he assistive access is right up his alley. He's a very bright person, can tell you literally anything, any plot of any movie, any actor, any year a movie was done, and it's incredible. And but the only thing, sometimes he gets frustrated using his phone. And something like this is just awesome because it doesn't insult anybody. It just makes it easier to use and a lot friendlier to use.
What how would you convince a company to like use this in their app?
So
Um
that's a tricky thing because as it is in a lot of companies, even getting support for voiceover in your app can actually be tricky. It can be a hill that you have to be ready to die on. But I think that this is
right.
a hill worth dying on as well. Maybe I should pick a different metaphor because that is kind of morbid. But so essentially, I think that if you consider that you want your app to be used by everybody, you have to consider that we have a world population of about 8 billion people, and we live in a world where at least 15% of those people experience some kind of disability. And if we really want to make something for everyone, we really need to make sure that that 15% is not being cut out of the equation. And more often than not, just by putting something, this is a common courtesy to put into your app. So putting something like assistive access or voiceover into your app is a common courtesy to folks. But when people see it done well, it brings them considerable joy because they actually feel like you're thinking of them and that you want them to use your app. and they're just folks like you and me. They just use their phones differently than you and I do.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely put a link to Alan's talk at DubDub. Definitely take a look at that. That's pretty awesome. Speaking of accessibility, you also wrote down the create accessible spatial experiences.
Yes.
So
So,
you want to
oh,
explain the accessibility Vision OS story there?
I this talk was delivered by my friends Dan Golden and Drew Hayes, um, and they have done some incredible work on Vision OS. And as you can imagine, Vision OS, especially the mission at Apple, is we're that Apple is very big on accessibility, and Vision OS is not going to be an exception to the rule there. And so
Yeah.
I will say, like with Alan, they're very qualified to deliver this talk, this session, and they go over a lot of things like pointing accessibility and such. And you would imagine, oh, it's we have iOS and iPadOS apps and watchOS apps that use things like VoiceOver, but this is going to be a different experience because the Vision OS relies so much on eyes and hand gestures. We also have to think about those folks who use their devices who, for instance, do not have all that eye mobility or that hand mobility, and so they can use things like pointing gestures and such to operate with these interfaces, and also the ability to have the feedback of a voice reading your content on the screen. And I don't want to jump too far into it, but it's just a really good overview as we start getting to spatial computing about how to really do some good accessible practice. And I highly recommend it to anybody who's starting to uh, consider projects with Vision OS because the SDK is not even out at the time of recording. And you could really do
Yeah.
yourself a favor by getting a head start because I'm going to say the age old saying that when you start your app, it's way better to consider accessibility while at that stage than it is to try to shoehorn it in later. And this talk does a really, really, really good job of helping with that.
I would say accessibility is more important for this than it is for any other device. I had questions talking about the interaction with the device. Like, okay, what if you're like, is there an alternative to pin like tapping your fingers? Is there an alternative to looking at something? Like, and so I haven't seen this video, but this sounds right up my alley because I'm really curious how you can set up those alternatives. Not just for accessibility, but just in general. I could see people being like, okay, I'm tired of doing this one thing. I want to have an alternative. So yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna definitely check that out after this.
And one thing that's
Um,
also worth considering is that when I don't think it's people necessarily realize it that Vision OS, the Vision Pro, is that you're able to connect devices to it, like a game controller, for instance. So that also can
yeah,
assist with navigation.
yeah, I would assume so. Did they say anything about storage on it? If you want like to pull off
I
offline
don't re
content.
I don't recall. And also,
Okay,
so yeah, I'm I don't know on that one.
okay. Okay. Yeah, because they had the person watch the movie on the airplane, but like Wi-Fi on the airplane sometimes sucks. So, like, could you download it on the app, like offline, like you could with Disney Plus or something? Like, I'd be curious about that. Sorry, that was total tangent there,
No, no,
but
it's a valid question, a valid use case. And now I'm sure after
yeah,
this talk, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole to see if that can be done.
yeah. So we know that there's a 2 hour battery, right? Like, I know that that's a bottleneck with the device, which hopefully you can charge it on the airplane while you're using it, so you can watch the 2.5 hour movie. But yeah, so that's just one of the many questions that I'll have. I don't know. Are you getting the developer kit? I would assume so, right?
I would very much like to apply,
Yeah, me
just
too.
because I went to a lab about developing games for Vision OS, and I came in
Hmm.
with two ideas, and I came out with like 10. And the problem is that I have 10 now, and
You have
I'm
10 new
going to have to.
domains too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I wish. I did buy I did buy a domain, but it's not, I don't think it's what people think it is, and but I
Oh
am
yeah.
excited to talk about that down the road. But yeah, like the problem is
Okay,
I have like
okay.
10 ideas, and with somebody like me, that's 10 competing things in my head. Then, so the problem is picking one.
I was telling people over the weekend, well, over the week, I've been working on like four apps at like the same time, like trying to digest all this two current apps and two new apps that I've been waiting for WWDC to work on, and it's like I just feel like I've been under the fire hose, whatever, for the last week and a half with all this new stuff. So yeah, I understand. Speaking of shared space, enhance your iPad and iPhone apps for the shared space. So my understanding, I think I did watch this one, is that like you can bring in iPhone and iPad apps, but basically
Yes,
whole hog into Vision OS, right?
it's wonderful. Yes. And there's a really, I would say, so my friend John Mark Hickey gave this talk, and the whole one, I feel like the real MVP of this talk was the hover effect modifier. Was
Okay.
because in Vision OS, as opposed to iOS, in iOS you tap your phone to interact with controls, right? And you
Hmm.
get different feedbacks. You could get a visual feedback or you could get a haptic feedback. But I don't know about you, I don't want something buzzing on my face when I press it. And so what yeah. You're like,
So let, oh, good,
but
my timer's done. Thanks.
like speaking of timers, my friend Devin Davies is working on. He's already hard at work, like designing his app Crouton to interface with Vision Pro. And honestly, I
That's
would
awesome.
I would get a Vision Pro just to use Crouton because can you imagine cooking and then but having the recipe up right next to you? You don't have to touch your phone or get it dirty because you have like flour
Mhm.
on your hands. You can put it in a window
Right.
off to the side while you are just cooking and like just refer to it. And like you can probably cook
Hmm.
way more efficiently. And Devin, if you're listening to this, I am genuinely excited. I really am.
Was there anything else with enhancing iPad and iPhone apps?
Oh right, I think I was kind of on a train there and I kind of hopped off. My bad. But so the the hover effect is a modifier that you can use to give feedback to elements when you have them selected using your eyes in
Nice. Yeah.
in Vision Pro. I mean, I keep interchangeably using Vision Pro and Vision OS. I'm really bad at this. In Vision
It's
OS,
same
and
for now.
that's really helpful because if you don't have that feedback when you're looking around, it's going to feel kind of stale or stiff, and it really helps with the eye tracking a lot. And
Okay.
paired
I
with
was
the
wondering
gestures,
about
it's
that.
really sweet. And yeah,
Yeah.
that session goes off how to use it really well, and it comes up and it explains a really good use case for defining the geometry of the hover area. No spoilers though.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's okay to get Vision OS and Vision Pro interchanged until they come out with the Vision Air or the Vision SE. So
Yeah,
it's 6 years.
exactly.
So you're good with that.
Vision Pro Max.
Um, what else do you want to cover when it comes to Vision OS? I guess.
I so I I'm blown away by the Vision Pro's capabilities. I'm not going to name any competitors by name, but I've used this VR stuff before, and it felt like it was just kind of made for some fun little party games, like classic Beat Saber, which is not a slam or a dig. Beat Saber is amazing, and I love it. But I have felt limitations with those, and the thing that is really interesting to me about Vision Pro is it feels like a universal application of VR and AR space, which to
Hmm.
me is something I wasn't even considering. Like for instance, I mentioned like crouton, like working in your kitchen with recipes by you. You can still play games. You can still like watch movies. And one thing that I'm really like excited about is they solved one of the biggest problems with traditional VR, which is let's say you played like Skyrim in VR, right? If you play on a normal
Hmm.
headset, you're gonna get motion sick unless you're really used to it and you've fought the good fight there. Um,
Yeah.
but because of their windowed approach to things, you can still see everything around you, and it
Yeah.
feels like another like TV, but it's still part of the experience, and it's really clever how it's done. And so I'm excited for it to be a solution for everybody.
Yeah. What I said in the last episode was that everybody's VR headset before this was like a BlackBerry. They all had keyboards on them, and like that was the way you did a smartphone. And then Apple comes along and they're like, no, 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 this is how you do VR. You get rid of the keyboard, and you make an AR device with a camera on both ends, etc. And it feels like they just Apple does its own thing, and then everybody's gonna like follow that route. Like it feels very much like what happened with the iPhone 15 years
Yeah.
ago in that regard.
So that to me is just super cool. I'm really excited, and it's we're entering another age of the developer Wild West. So back in when Swift was announced on the
Mm-hmm.
iPhone, and everyone was jumping into it, everyone was figuring out how to use it and stuff, and trying to figure out best practices. And the cool thing is, apart from these lovely sessions that we've been given, a lot of the best practices for the developer community have yet to be revealed. And so I think if you're interested in joining the wider community at large, this is a great platform for you because you can be a part of the discussion and help form kind of the trajectory of third-party apps for Vision OS. And that's a really great place to have your voice heard.
Well, let's talk about the community aspect of it. Like, what was that like for this year's WWDC?
Oh, it was incredible. So I really think of it honestly like going to a really, really big family reunion because you recognize so many people. There are so many people you haven't seen in at least a year, and
Yeah,
it's like you never left. It's like the whole time you're kind of like, wow. And the
yeah,
whole year you're like, oh man, I hope like so and so hasn't forgot me or stuff. But they're just so happy to see you. There's like hugs and high fives all around, and here's what I've been up to. Like, and it's incredible because like not only are people like here to see everything at Dub Dub. They are also you also get to see that they're in evolving stages of their life. Like some people have gotten new jobs, some people have built new apps, some people are in the middle of building new apps, some people have had kids, some people have gotten married. It's just incredible. It just really kind of shows you that the community is alive, evolving, and well, and just really special.
yeah. Yeah, I decided not to go this year because I already did my world tour, doing two conferences, and like just going to those two conferences was so great to see people I haven't seen in a while or never seen in person, honestly. And I can't imagine it's the same going to WWDC. It's like just seeing all these people, especially if it's been a while. Um, what what do you think is like what was like the biggest change or biggest surprise for meeting other people as far as what they're working on that's differently than what you would have expected, I guess. Does that make sense?
So, are you talking about like in meeting other people and like what they're working on, or just meeting other people in general?
Meeting other people and what are they working on?
So, you kind of have this idea of like kind of software engineering, like, oh, I have an idea, I'm going to carefully guard it. People are out to steal it, and I kind of was expecting people to like, be that way, because I would like hesitantly ask, oh, like I see like you are really interested in this. Are you planning on making something with it? And then I was planning every time I asked that to be like shut down and be like, oh, I can't say. But everyone is really eager to kind of talk about what they're doing for the most part, for those that I talk to at least. Uh, and it's nice because I haven't seen the kind of thief mindset. Usually, when somebody says it, they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. Did you know that this could do this or whatever, or this might be helpful?" And I saw a friend working on a really, really good idea. I really think we'll see the idea within the next year. Um, but they were talking to another one of my friends about a particular protocol or framework, and it was really cool. This person that they were talking to, really knowledgeable in this framework, and this person just was genuinely caring and helping them out. And this
Mm-hmm.
community has a really, really, really good spirit, and I was just really impressed with how much everyone genuinely wants to help each other.
Yep. Yeah, I agree completely. I think that I've done this long enough. Like I know that your code is not as special as you think it is. There's what makes a successful app is not great code. So to me, it's like sharing my code is not. It's not the secret it used to be. Yeah, somebody could copy it, but like to me, it's more the collab. There's so much benefit to the collaboration and the community aspect to it that it's to me keeping your code secret sometimes isn't like you lose more than you gain, I guess is the way I'd put it. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And I really do
Uh,
think that while it may be unfortunate, if someone were to copy code, it really does the copier a disservice, and that's kind of unfortunate.
right. Yeah, exactly. Um, what else about just the community aspect or being in person did you want to talk about, or do you feel like we covered that pretty well?
Um, I think so. One really awesome thing. So I didn't get the quote unquote golden ticket, but I did get to help iOS Dip Happy Hour with the watch party, and that was really cool because instead of usually like kind of like watching it by yourself in like your living room or your bedroom, you got to be with a bunch of other people, and it was like watching the last Avengers movie where everyone cheers for things and like all the cool things happen. Uh, like for instance, people really got happy about like the Vision Pro announcement. I almost fell out of
Yeah.
my seat when they announced the biking port and the health app for iPad. I mean, the biking stuff for the watch to
Yeah.
me, as a cyclist, that to me is just amazing, and I cannot wait to overuse it.
Yeah. I want to talk about that a little bit. We're going to do an episode. I think the next episode might be with Hide, uh, who's done amazing work. He did a great talk on design at Swift Hero. So I'm really excited to geek out about WatchOS 10 with him in the next episode. But I do want to talk about a few things, mostly the health related stuff. So yeah, we got health kit on the iPad, which was always a pain in the butt to deal if you're ever developed anything with health kit. We got a new API for syncing workouts between the phone and the watch. You always had to do it through watch connectivity, and now there's a built-in API in health kit to do that, which I really am happy about. And then we got biking. So maybe you can explain the biking and the hiking part. Are those on all watch OS 10 watches, or was it just
I'm
ultras?
not
I
sure.
wasn't totally clear on that.
I think
Okay.
I didn't see anything that necessarily said the ultras, but of course, if anyone's listening, they can jump out and correct me, and I would be
Yeah,
happily
please do.
corrected.
We asked this in the last episode, and I'm like, with the hiking stuff, like they talked about last cell connection. Like, well, does it have to be a ultra? Could it just be a watch with LTE on it? Like, I don't like, because that would be awesome if I didn't have to spend $700 to use that feature.
Right. Yeah, I have an ultra just because I like to run like marathons and things, so it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
it's very great. But the biking thing is incredible because as someone who trains, like for instance, I have an Ironman coming up in November, but as somebody who trains extensively on the bike to try to like improve and kind of nail down a certain level of performance, the improvements, basically what they've done is something that I've wanted for like years, and that's for the watch to take on the functionality of a bike computer. Now, a bike computer really tells you a bunch of things like how fast you're going, but it can also tell
Right.
you your average wattage, and amidst a bunch of other stats. And now the watch can do that, which means you don't have to go buy a bunch of extra equipment and sync it up. You just throw your iPad, I mean your iPad, your iPhone in your bag, and or in the back of your
Okay.
bike jersey, and it collects the data, and you can get that stuff just by virtue of running a workout. And that to me is incredible, and I'm so excited about it.
The other thing is that you can get a display on your phone to show your bike
Yes,
stats. Is that correct?
yes, that's like the idea of the bike computer.
Okay. So like you don't have to look at your wrist. You can look at your phone at the same
Oh,
time, right?
um, I don't know if I personally would try to look at both at the same time. I feel like I don't have the ability to
No, no,
do
no.
that.
I
Just
meant you could look at the phone instead of the watch while the watch is tracking your
oh,
stats.
I
Is that correct?
I did not know. I did not know that. But my
Okay.
understanding is some like official races are very finicky about having like your phone as a bike computer. They'll like disallow it and stuff.
Why is that? For safety reasons?
I think it's for safety reasons, and I think it's the idea
Okay.
they don't want the temptation of like texting while riding.
That that'll happen.
That
Sorry,
would be
people are
terrible.
like that. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, I've done half marathons before. I haven't done an I don't have an ultra uh, watch ultra, but that would be tempting for marathons. I would assume.
Oh yeah, no.
Uh,
If you ever want to do like an endurance sport, honestly, like this is the one to get. It's fantastic. Uh, but even
yeah,
then, I will
I
say
looked
you
at
have.
one this week. I actually looked at one this weekend because, um, if you can give me your thoughts and prayers, my Series 6 died. So,
Oh
like, it's dead. It doesn't turn on anymore. It charges, but it doesn't turn on. So, I was like, oh, how big is an Ultra? And it looked like really big. And I was like a bit intimidated by that. But, yeah, I mean, that battery life must be awesome on it.
no, it really is. And but even so, I will say that for things like marathons, there are optimizations you can make to make it even better. Because I really love the Nike Run Club app, and I love the guided runs with
Hmm.
Coach Bennett, but that can eat your battery pretty
Okay.
hard.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I've bought like most of my watches I've bought were the Nike ones, so that's cool to hear. Anything else that you want to talk about health related?
uh, I guess that today is pretty awesome, and I met him at Dub, and he's just
Yeah.
a ray of sunshine. I'm excited for the next episode.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so tempted to go to the beta. Um, we'll see. I'm holding out as long as I am. So far, we've been able to record this episode on Sonoma, so that's good news because I accidentally upgraded my production Mac. So
Whoops.
yeah, don't do that. It crashes quite a bit. I love the widgets on the screen. I think that's awesome, but like yeah, there's been a couple times the computer's restarted on its own. So far this recording's worked out great. Yay. Uh I want to talk about partnership with Unity. Is this Vision
Oh,
OS related or gaming related?
it's both. So this is something that's kind of special to me because I have a niche interest in game development, and
Okay.
over the years, Apple's done some really awesome, like Unity has helped like join the pretty much the Apple scene in a lot of ways, and
Mhm.
including actual accessibility frameworks with Apple for games. And now we're kind of seeing Unity in these events like the keynote for developing, especially the case was Vision OS. And that's just really cool because I really like Unity a lot, and it's a really good game development tool. And it's really nice to see that it's so friendly with uh, the Apple platform ecosystem. So it's kind of you
Mhm.
don't have
Yeah.
to feel that there's not a suitable option for game development. This is a great one.
When you do games, do you just do them in Unity? Do you use like Sprite Kit or any of the Scene Kit or any of the Apple stuff, or how do you do that? I'm just kind of curious.
I think it depends on the project, and I think it depends on the scale of your project. I personally like working in Unity, just because of all that's available to you, and it's the type of project that I like lends itself really well to Unity, especially if you consider
Okay.
things like tile maps. And so, and I know you can do that with Sprite Kit, but Unity makes it really easy.
Right. Um, what is Unity C sharp based, JavaScript based?
It is. Actually, I have a funny story. So while we were waiting for our flights, we were in Cupertino. Paul Hudson and I were kind of killing some time. We went to the Cupertino Public Library and logged into the computers and found that they had Visual Studio 2015. So we built little projects in C sharp just for the fun of it during the hour we had limited. It felt suspiciously like a lead code problem session.
2015.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, that's funny. Um, oh, that takes me back. Um, yeah. Was there anything else you want to talk about before we close out?
Oh wow. I guess some last minute things, some quick things. I'm really pumped for Swift macros and Swift data. Macros are going to make writing Swift so much more exciting and just fast. And Swift data, we know that it's going to it as core data is very kind of archaic and tricky to conceptually wrap around. I've always had a
Hmm.
really hard time with it. And Swift data is going to be a really great solution for getting some persistence done in a way that makes sense and feels readable.
Have you tried any of those either of those in the last week? Because I've only
Not
done
yet.
Swift macro for Swift UI previews, which by the way I found a bug. I filed it.
Good
The
job.
Monday, the Sunday before WWDC, I created an enum called preview, with the same name. And then I'm like using the macro in my project. And it's like, I preview's not a macro. Why are you trying to? But I'm like, I'm using your built-in. Well, it ends up being there's like a name. You can't have an enum with the same name as a built-in macro. So yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think that should be the case. I would assume. So yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
learned
glad you
the hard way.
filed.
Yes, I did file. I'll post a link to the number in the show
Good.
notes. But I've not. So that's actually one API I haven't jumped into is Swift Data. Like, I pretty much could use Swift Data everywhere. I feel like I've been waiting for Swift Data, which is why I've avoided Core Data in all of my apps, is because I knew there's going to be something like this coming. So, like, I am definitely at some point this summer going to deep dive into Swift Data because I could use it so many places and so many apps. So yeah, I'm really excited about that and jumping into that and seeing how that works. Also seeing how that works, how that fits in with with a full stack Swift application. Like if you have a database in Fluent and Vapor, like how does that work with Swift Data if you want to sync your data up? And
Oh
so
yeah,
yeah, I'm really excited about that.
that should be a good time. I'm really happy that it's around, and I already know people using it. And
Yeah,
also on the subject of Swift macros, shout out to Holly Borla for presenting at State of the Union.
yeah,
She's a
yeah.
boss.
She is, yes, she is the boss. Yeah, Holly puts out great content. She does a fantastic job. Her talk on associated types from last year was a super helpful for me when it came to doing my talk for Swift Heroes. So
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that.
yeah,
Also, good work for your
yeah,
talk. That's incredible.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I was wrapping my head around existential types, and I finally grokked it after I watched her talk and the other gentleman who talked last year. I wish I remembered,
You
but
are the only
um,
other person I know who uses the word grok. You and Charlie Chapman.
must be a Midwest thing.
I think it's got to be. 'Cause, yeah, you must
Adrian,
both be Midwesterns.
yes, yeah, we're both Midwesterns. So, wow. Anything else?
That's all I can think of for today. I think I'm ready for a nap in a little bit.
Yes. Enjoy your nap. Good luck with your job search. Thank you so much, Adrian, for coming back on. We'll love to have you on again. Maybe next time we'll just geek out about Tears of the Kingdom and,
Yes,
you know,
we'd have to schedule multiple sessions for that.
you're right, exactly. Exactly. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on all the platforms. Twitter at Swifteves, Mastodon at Swifteves, at Mastodon.social, and Blue Sky at Swifteves. Swifteves at the little standard Blue Sky domain.
Great. Thank you again. People can find me on Twitter at LeoGDion. My company is Bright Digit. I'm Leo Gideon everywhere, Bright Digit everywhere. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Share some clips and shorts with other people. Let them know that I'll be pretty much putting out episodes once a week until probably August. So yeah, we have a lot at WWDC to cover. Next time will be probably Hit A, talk about WatchOS 10, and I also am planning on having Pedro Pinheiro from Toist on to talk about Xcode and Toist. So be sure to subscribe if you want to catch those episodes. If you're listening to this on a podcast player, also put out a review and share with others as well. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again. Bye, everybody.